Oh, hey, how you doing? I'm Don Oriolo. This is my Felix the Cat guitar, and this is the Felix headquarters. You know, Felix has been around for quite some time. It all started out with Uncle Otto Mesmer. I say uncle because he was like a part of the family. I was very fortunate to know Otto and all of his peers. They were the people that basically created the animation business. You know, back when Otto and my father Joe Oriolo and all of the other pioneers in the industry were animating, there weren't any books, there weren't any encyclopedias, there was nowhere to go to learn how to animate. They literally had to create the industry on the fly. As they were drawing, they had to figure out how to time it, how to lay it out, how to shoot it. And basically, they were creating the art of animation as they did the films. Before Otto passed away, I was fortunate enough to sit with him and interview him. I shot about 6 hours worth of footage of Otto talking about his life, about Felix the Cat, just about everything he could think of. It's in black and white because that's the only camera that I had at the time. But this footage has never been seen, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. You're going to get an insight into Otto Mesmer as a person, as an animator, and as a pioneer.
On the side at home, I got an idea of a pet cat who would be a lonesome cat, a homeless cat, you know, wandering around, but he would see different homes and different comic ways. He would get to be the house pet. And also, he helped them out in various ways by little tricky ways that he had, saving them from burglars and fires and things like that. And also he was accepted as a mascot for different airplane pilots and explorers, and even the Prince of Wales of England adopted him as a mascot for his polo team. And various little things like that, and a lot of toys and everything. But the principal thing is that Felix in those days was helpful, you know, and he would help people. That was the trick. He'd start off walking alone and see some trouble, and in his particular fashion he would help them out, you know. The Yankees, he was a mascot in this particular one for the New York Yankees, and they were losing terribly. Now the only way you can save a team from losing if they're 20 runs behind is to have it called in the 5th inning, you know, no game, count the rain. So he went to bat for the Yankees. This was all photographed real, live, you know, but we inserted this him. He gets to bat, and he hits, in the 5th inning, he hits the ball up, way up to the sky, you know, and it's pluvious. And he's so angry that he turns on the rain, you know. So you see the polo grounds, Yankee Stadium, rain coming down, which we animated. The game called, nobody lost. They had a little short cartoon each week, Newsweek magazine. And their own staff were falling behind. You know, Paramount needed one extra, you know, to fill in. So we were so busy doing Charlie Chaplin cartoons that he said, if you want to, on the side at home, knock out to satisfy them, a simple little cartoon, which I taught to that pet cat, see? And I called it Feline Follies. It had so many good little gags in it, you know, one after the other, that they liked it very much, Paramount, and they signed Sullivan up and to make more.
Hey, here's a little bit of Felix the Cat trivia. Did you know that the very first image ever televised was Felix the Cat? That's right, when they were inventing television, they needed a model that was just going to stand there and not talk back, and it had to be in black and white, because the first television was black and white. So they decided to use a Felix the Cat doll. They put a Felix the Cat doll on a turntable, 16 RPMs, had Felix turning around very slowly, and when they had him focused, they called New York and said, "We're ready, flip the switches." They flipped the switches, and the very first image to come across the airways was Felix the Cat. Not to be forgotten is Otto Mesmer's protege, my father, Joe Oriolo. Joe was one of 7 children of an Italian immigrant family who just sort of started drawing from the time he was born and never stopped. This is my mother, Dorothy Oriolo, and we're going to talk a little bit about how my mother grew up in the animation business with my father.
We went to school together.
Yeah. Okay. The way I remember it, Dad was always drawing.
I think he was always drawing. When we were first married, Joe was working in New York for the Fleischer Studios. Yes, as cleaner, yeah, cleaning up the drawings. And he and Otto Mesmer became friends. They were always very close, the fellows that were working there at Fleischer. And they used to draw caricatures of one another. The Fleischer brothers asked everybody working to move to Florida, and that's when we moved to Florida. And in Florida, Joe worked for the Fleischer Studios.
When you were living in Florida, Dad worked on Popeye, Betty Boop, Superman, Gulliver's Travels.
Oh, Gulliver's Travels especially.
It's hard being in movies.
Remembering back so many years. Everybody will always remember Felix. Oh yes, especially my husband.
In around 1981 or 82, I took some time to interview my father, also for about 6 hours, only this time footage is in color because I was able to get a better camera. So here's an interview that I had with my father, Joe Oriolo. Hey, Joe!
Well, Felix the Cat was one of the first stars really to take off. He was great in through the whole British Empire, where Mickey Mouse wasn't, because of the ruination of a lot of the crops from rats and mice. They didn't want to honor the mice or the mouse, and that's a fact. But animation, the way it was, it gave a universal appeal to both kids and adults. And the reason Felix is great now is the fathers of the people that were brought up with my films that are adults today know Felix, and their kids are beginning to know him again. So it's going to be a chain reaction all the way through. You see?
Here I am, Felix the Cat, bringing you loads of fun. Watch for me on this channel.
Original bag of tricks I had is like a laundry bag. And I had a flying carpet, a magic flying carpet and all that stuff, and I did animation on that. That was at the beginning. And finally, we decided to make a bag of tricks where you can open it, make a boat out of it, make anything out of it. So that's how we decided. The design on a bag of tricks was some wallpaper I had in the house. And it was yellow, and I wanted to design it, and I cut a piece out. I still got the piece up with my collection of stuff I had, Felix.
Ah, an apple tree. I better use my little bag of tricks. Going up. Delicious.
That Translux Felix the Cat series was amazing. It's still my favorite Felix the Cat animation. It was innovative in many, many different ways. It was actually the first made for first-run syndication cartoon television series ever made. Pretty much because there was really no budget to do animation for syndication. It was usually when a cartoon series stopped running on a network, that's when it went into syndication. That never really stopped my father from doing animation or his art, and it shouldn't stop anybody for that matter. My father wrote the script, did the animation in our house. When it came to doing the ink and paint of the pilot for the Felix the Cat series, the cells that we used, or my father used, I was a kid, were some old Popeye cells. And my brother and I erased all the Popeye off the cells, and that's the cells that were inked and painted. The inker was a young lady at the time who's still working with us, named by the name of Jean Calaboyer. And she would ink them, and everybody in the family would paint them. After that was done, my father took the episode into a friend of his who had an Oxbury 35mm camera and got him to shoot it on spec. Now came the really great part, the voices.
So I called a lot of guys in. I even called Mae Questel. I called all types of good voices that were in New York. And finally, I never was satisfied with it. I tape them and I listen to it and I draw according to it. It didn't feel right. So I finally called Jack Mercer. And he says, Jack, geez, I'm having a problem. You think you'd be interested in doing Felix the Cat? He says, well, let me try it. So he did the voice, and I said, geez, you know, it sounds pretty good. We used to use the hallway for the echo chamber.
I was given an EV microphone and a Magnacord tape recorder, and my father said, Donald, set it up and tell me when it's ready. After we recorded Jack's voices, it was edited on a moviola, put into the context of the pilot, and now it needed music. One of my father's best friends was, I guess you'd say, my mentor in the first pilot of Felix the Cat. It was magical, I have to say. Still today, if you look at a lot of the style of the animation on Nickelodeon and the Powerpuff Girls, you know, any of the Rugrats stuff, a lot of the modern animation today, same look and feel as the Translux Felix the Cat series. Thicker line, simplistic backgrounds, the colors, very vibrant color palette. So in many ways, that series was a launching pad for many, many other styles of animation.
Felix to me it's a cornerstone, you know, on my grave, you know, plus Mesmer's. And it'll continue on and on and on and on, because the merchandiser now has hit a spot where it is one of the most popular cats in the world. And Felix has sold twice in New York, to 2 different stations where it never happened before in any other cartoon. It's still making a circuit after so many years, since 1962 when I finished, still making a circuit and getting more popular now than ever.
So I figured I'd really like to do something with my father. And so I went to him and I said, hey, why don't we do a feature film? There's never been a feature film of Felix the Cat. He said, great idea. So I called a friend of mine, Pete Brown, who wrote a lot of the Cream hits, Sunshine of My Love and White Room. And I said, hey Pete, do you want to write a script with me? So he goes, sure mate, why not? That's my English accent. So we got together and we wrote Felix the Cat the movie. Brought the whole package over to my father and said, hey Dad, here's the script, here's the studio, it's all yours. And I remember he looked at me, and this was in 1985, and he said, Donald, he says, I don't have the strength right now. I'm not feeling well, and I'd really like you to finish the movie. There's really no other person that I'd like to see do this but you. You're the one that can keep this thing going. So that's basically how I was passed the mantle for Felix the Cat, to help put words in Felix's mouth and expressions on his face. So the movie was pretty successful. So we felt that we really should be starting a new licensing and merchandising campaign. Just look at all of the Felix merchandise. So in 1996, I made a deal with Phil Roman, and we decided to do a TV show, a little edgy, called The Twisted Tales of Felix. NHK asked if I would do a television series based on a little character I came up with called Baby Felix. So we went in, we showed them some designs and some layouts and some story ideas, and we wound up doing 65 5-minute episodes of Baby Felix.
Felix has a baby, baby Felix. Baby Felix. Meow.
You know, if you can draw a circle, you can draw Felix. We just finished the latest animated Felix the Cat project called Felix the Cat Saves Christmas. So, enjoy Felix the Cat Saves Christmas. Radio!
I think of them all my loved ones who made me feel tall. They taught me how to laugh and how to face my fears. And I thank them for all the memories through the years. Through the years. Someday I know we'll be together in some cartoon show, and we'll all have a big laugh and share some loving tears. Till then I thank them for all these memories through the years. Through the years, all these memories through the years.
It's stupid, Pluvius.